Everyone thinks creative block is about motivation or inspiration, but having worked with dozens of stuck artists, I've discovered the real reason why you can't create, and it's probably not what you think. I'm Rowley, and I'm a creative guide who helps stuck creatives, particularly those ones with busy jobs who have a passion project that they really want to get back to. Usually they got families, houses, dogs to walk, trying to stay fit, and they're just trying to make it all work together. I love helping those people, and loads of other people too. What I've discovered in a lot of people's stories is that somewhere along the line, by someone they really loved or trusted, that they were told that their art wasn't valuable, or that they weren't good enough, or they didn't make the cut. This has come up again and again and again for people, whether it's a family member or a teacher of an art class or music class has just kind of pulled the rug out from underneath them and told them that they're not good enough to pursue their dream. Or in some cases, maybe it's just a societal idea that there's a starving artist, you're never going to make it, so go to college and get a job. And that could just be a cultural vibe in your family, in your town, or it could be something deeper. But I'll tell you a few stories about that as well. Often how this shows up for people is they don't address the kind of underlying issue that they've devalued their art and they've been told that there's something else that's more profitable, more worthy of their time and effort. So they often make a lot of excuses. And maybe they're too busy, or they're too old, or my partner doesn't understand, or I've got so many other things to do. It's complicated. And I get it. I've been there. And a lot of time this creative block is not about procrastination. I mean, it sometimes shows up at that, and it's not about lack of ideas too. Like, once people can find the space and get into the flow, they often come up with a flood of inspiration and a flood of ideas. It all just comes flowing out, but they're blocked and they're guarded because when they showed off their skill, or they showed off their talent in the past, it didn't meet the approval that they expected. It was frowned upon. It was shut down, and that just puts a lid on it. And people don't want to finish their work. They don't want to share it. They don't want to show it. And I totally get that. When I went into first year in secondary school here in Ireland, so probably about 12, we all were allowed to go to music class and art class and kind of cookery, home economics, all of those things. And at the end of the year, we were going to get kind of funneled into specific subjects that we wanted to do. But I was told by the art teacher that I wasn't good enough to stay in the art class. And I don't think I had an argument with that. But then I also found out that there was no space left in the music class. And I think the music class probably would have been the best place for me, but I wasn't really pursuing it. But that definitely put a cap on my thinking about it. And I think I've shared before as well that, like, even at home, like, my mom is an amazing singer, an amazing florist, an amazing cook. But like, the real contribution for art was paintings that went on the wall. Art was not any of those other creative outputs, or at least in her thinking. I've had to deal with that, and I've had to figure out ways of moving forward. I've had to figure out ways of overcoming that and understanding that it's my choice and it's my future and it's my drive to push and do something worthwhile and fulfilling with my time and my creativity. And that's what got me into this idea of being a creative guide. I want to help people to make something beautiful, because I just look around at the world and I think right now we need all of the beauty, all of the creative thinking, the creative strategies, the beautiful music, art, writing. I just think we need that to help to guide our world and to lead our communities into places we haven't been before. And I just think it's so key for us as humanity to evolve and grow and pursue all these things. And I think it's key for you to connect to that creativity and overcome that maybe wound or that disappointment and find a new way to express yourself. Let me give you two examples of people whose names you will know. So Vincent van Gogh, he was told by his family that they didn't see him having that art could be something that would be useful for him or it would provide for him. He also had failed attempts at going through education, and he was mostly self-taught, which also meant that he was outside, even further outside of the artistic realms and norms. But that meant that he got to do something different, and it was wildly different, and it was challenging to the art scene that was there. But he's a household name now. And Nina Simone, who's an amazing voice in the jazz world, she was repressed by society. She applied to get into music school, and she really believes she didn't get in because of racial prejudice. So that's the society going, well, we don't think that a black woman could be making music and be successful at it. But I think she's absolutely fantastic voice. Her music is always enthralling, and I love where she goes with it. But she had to fight her own way and kind of push against those societal norms to get where she went. And I imagine that happened again and again and again. It wasn't just that one time trying to get into music school, but it was all the times she was fighting to get her music heard, recorded, and put out there. Lots of the people that I get to talk to end up spending time going down rabbit holes of watching YouTube videos, buying courses, buying new gear that they think is going to solve their problem and get them excited and inspired to make music. But often when we get past the procrastination and the distractions, we get to a place where there's something really deep, where they haven't been cared for or supported or looked after. And that's where I come in as a creative guide. That's how I help people to unpack that and to figure out ways and to walk alongside them to produce their music, write their books, get their art out into the world. So what I think the creatively blocked artist needs to do is to find the support, the understanding, the compassion, the community, the adoration, whether that's from an audience or from a group of fellow creatives. Find that support around you. Whether or not we get to work together ever, I think that's what you need. You need to find somebody who can hold you accountable, who can challenge you, who can push you in new directions. And that could be a collective of like-minded people near you. And thankfully, we have the internet. So there are pockets of people in your discipline wanting to shout you on, wanting to cheer on from the sidelines, wanting to collaborate with you, wanting to see your work, understand what you're up to, and see what's important. But one thing you can do today is you can sign up for the Digital Distraction Starter Kit, Space for Creativity, down in the description. There's a video on how to get away from some of your distractions. So definitely think our phones are distracting us and taking us away from having creative time. There's also 7 types of rest PDF, and there will help you to really prioritize all the different ways in which you can rest and recover. And it's not just about getting 8 hours sleep. It's about finding ways that really fold into and work well in your life. If there's anything else I can help with, my link's in the description. You can check that out. If you look up here, YouTube's going to suggest another video for you on this topic. And hopefully it'll help you to find some space, find some answers to how you're going to move forward and how you're going to kind of get over any of these creative blocks. But I hope that you have a great day. Stay creative. Keep creating. Okay, see you next time.